Welcome to KTNG.NET TV. Community news is the whole story. I'm here today with Bryan Parker.
He was the running candidate to incumbent Dr. Willie Jones for the 4th District seat on City Council in Compton. And we're here with him today. Good day, Bryan. And
Good day.
And for you and all of our viewers, could you tell us a bit about your background, your experience of
Being a first-time candidate.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you, Jeff, for giving me this opportunity to have this conversation with you, which is very important. Whenever you have the opportunity to run as a candidate and to solicit the community support to serve them, you always want to be accountable at some point to explain how the experience was and what you gained from it. So, I want to just say, thank you for this opportunity. But, to start off, what motivated me to get involved in terms of my background is that primarily I'm from the city of Compton. I was raised here. I went to, and I explained this along the campaign trail. I went to Emerson Elementary, Roosevelt Middle School, Dominguez High School, and I was lucky enough to advance to also go to Compton College, which over time turned into El Camino College Compton Center. So, but all of those schools are in the 4th District, so I have a pretty good idea over what the issues are over time, not just where we are right now. So, so you have to know the past of the city or the district in order to be able to correct some of the problems you have right now. So I have a pretty, and then I went on after that to be fortunate enough to work with the city, and I was actually employed as a community center director, and I had many responsibilities. I had an opportunity to work at the senior center with the seniors and also at the park. So I really got a grasp of some of the community issues, and I also had a heartbeat and a feel for the issues that the community felt were important to them.
Okay.
During the campaign, what was your platform and can it still be utilized today?
Because I'm not sure if a lot of people got it or if a lot of people misunderstood it, or maybe there's something that could be clarified within it.
Yeah, it was important to make clear that safety was an issue to all of us. The infrastructure, specifically potholes, were a concern to me, very, very much a concern. And there were a few other things that we all kind of collaborated on and felt that it was just important to us. And, but the unique nature of my candidacy is that I wanted to run a campaign that involved all of us. What could we do together? So often you find that politicians kind of feel the need to say, this is what I can do. Let me present my platform.
Yeah.
I want to really get away from that, to say, when I'm in office, I'll be humble and I'm going to be open to conversations and not insecure with those conversations, but just humble to them to the point to where we can dialogue to figure out together based on the information I have as a council person outside of running. Because when you run for office, you really don't have the information you would have once you're elected. So once the books are open and you have an idea of what's really going on, we can have that conversation with the community to say, this is where we are. Let's talk to see what our solutions are and see what are the best solutions that we can produce together as a group. And I would just spearhead that. I would bring in organizations, and I think I talked about it quite in depth, that I would reach out to community organizations, nonprofit organizations, specifically church organizations, just all the nonprofits. We have hundreds of them in Compton. So I want to have a spirit of outreach to solicit what would be the best talent in the community, to reach out and get people who need the services, the correct services, and it would be just something that we would do from our heart. And also the actual resources, specifically monetary resources that we have in our city, could go, instead of social programs, which what I'm talking about when I say what we can do together is pretty much healing the social programs, social ailments in our community. So instead of those resources going to that, we can bring the monetary resources in to deal with potholes and to deal with other things that you need specific talent to address, and you need to pay for that specific talent.
And infrastructure and everything of that nature. It's quite interesting because your platform involves the collective, the overall collective of the community to actually come together and actually work on problems step by step by step by step by step.
Right.
Okay.
There are people who say that there's a power struggle between the upper echelons of African American supporters and Latino supporters. What's your comment on that?
Well, with any, when you deal with people, You know, you can't really, although we do it by nature, you can't clump people up and stereotype them. I think that we do operate in a system that can be biased and stereotypical and racist at times. But when you look at the average everyday person in Compton specifically, my neighbors, probably your neighbors, and just the people who come here and want to reside and raise a family and do all the things that they want to do in terms of what you can do in the community. Really good people. But then you do have people, and we may not know who they are necessarily. You may have a figurehead in front of us who we assume may have these views, but they're just there to implement those views. But we may not know it, but I think there is a system in place where people are have interests that may be one ethnic group against another ethnic group. So we have to look at that, you know, and we have to be transparent about it, and we have to dig in deep to see if we can uproot that type of mentality. So I will say that the average person in Compton, I would say, is just a good person, and there are any issues.
You know, what I love about Compton is the same thing I loved about certain aspects of South Carolina.
Right.
No matter where you go, people would say hello.
Right.
I love that. I love that. So
like much. Southern mentality, right?
Southern hospitality, Southern mentality. Yeah. I love that. It's always a good
thing. I think that's, you know, by you bringing that up, and it's important for me to make this connection. I think my candidacy represented how people understood, like, my heart. You know, I didn't have a lot of money. You know, I had maybe 4 or 5 banners in the community, but I had a wealth of help from people who understood that I wasn't an everyday person trying to run for office just because the seat was open. I genuinely wanted to see a better Compton, and I felt that I had the skill set and the support and the knowledge and understanding and the applicable experience to really get in and figure it out and get it done. But I think people understood that I had a great heart, and I still have a great heart for the city. And I think that's what drove our mission, you know, in terms of the campaign, pushing it forward.
Okay. Your thoughts on Compton Unified School District board member Emma Sharif and her run for first district? How did that affect you?
Oh, well, you know, I will say that I had an opportunity to get to know Emma quite well. You know, we spent a lot of time together in our collegiate experience, and that was about a year or so, and we saw each other basically probably every week for a couple of days a week. And I think that she's very capable. She has experience. I think what we have to do is not get caught up in making her our competition, because we did run. We didn't run against her or Dr. Jones or the people that was involved. We ran to present our platform so the community could decide. Well, the community has made their choice. So as a resident who's interested in moving the city forward, we have to give her opportunity to succeed. And it has to be realistic. We can't just, because she's going to make some mistakes that we can capitalize on.
We're all human.
She's going to make some mistakes. But we have to intellectually reason whether or not those mistakes are detrimental to the city, or if she's just making she's just a bad decision. So we have to give her a chance to succeed. If she's succeeding and if she's doing a good job, I think we should continue to support her even beyond 4 years. But, you know, with any elected official and our civic obligation, if we feel we can have a better representation, and that what has happened so far should be moving in a different direction, then we should vote accordingly. But at this point, I think we should really give her opportunity to succeed and support her.
What would you say is the biggest problem facing City Council, City Hall, and the way it serves the community of Compton?
You know, you can get very technical. There's a lot of issues. There are a lot of issues we can talk about. But I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, and this may be a very controversial answer, but it's the truth. The first bridge you have to cross is the cultural bridge, and a lot of, and it may be seen as Hispanics versus blacks, but it's really a cultural bridge. Instead of, you know, we have to embrace each other. This city is over 70% Hispanic, and it used to be primarily African American, and it's not the ethnic group, it's really the culture that divides us. Sometimes we don't understand each other. So we have to, as a council person, and it doesn't matter what color you are, but as a council person, one of the jobs Emma Sharif will have to deal with is how do you bridge the gap? And she can do it. And how do you relate to one side and relate to the other side and bring them all together so that we don't use our differences as competition, but we use our differences as opportunities to come together and celebrate each other's heritage and each other's culture and ethnicity and the whole 9 yards that make us unique. We celebrate it together and not allow it to divide us. So once we get over that hurdle, then we can come together and then we can talk about how do we solve the more deeper problems of government in Compton. But that would be, to me, the most important hurdle to first tackle, is to bring people together.
Final question. What does the future hold for Bryan Parker?
Well, I mean, I'm expanding. You know, in terms of my, you know, I'm everywhere. I just want to serve. I'm happy with the election that we ran and the campaign that we focused on. It was very positive. And I have no regrets. We did not get the necessary votes to win or to qualify for the runoffs. I think we fell short about nine votes. But the community responded to Bryan, not my resources or my ability to connect with politicians and endorsements. People responded to Bryan. People who even just supported me and went out in the streets, and people who voted responded to Bryan. Our voice was heard. And so I'm going to continue to exercise my voice. I'm going to continue to show that it's not about just a governmental mentality. It's really about pushing or utilizing every resource we can get. And which that would have, you know, when you run for office, you're running because the resources are there, not because this person is running and that person is running. You just really want to get your hands on the resources so that you can make some good decisions for the community. So I'll continue to figure out what works for me. I'm going to pray, obviously, and then I'm going to think a little bit and see where God will inspire me to serve next.
Great. Well, I do want to thank you, Bryan, for taking the time for this interview. And to the many people in Compton who are our viewers and our listeners and so forth, I do want to thank you for coming by. And we'll have more interviews, I'm pretty sure, in the future.
Yes, sir. Anytime you want to. And I want to say this. This is the most important part. It's not my conversation. I want to thank you for what you are doing, because this is an opportunity to allow not just me, but many different people to express their innermost deep thoughts about how they feel about the issues in Compton. So you're opening up doors, and these are media avenues that we've never really explored with the technological advances that we have right now, where you could just instantly take it from one place and just put it into the community's hands. It doesn't have to go through a system of bureaucracy. So I just want to encourage you to continue to do what you do and to invite you know, wherever you feel is a viable person to talk about the city issues and move forward in that nature. So I just want to say thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, I thank you for all of our viewing audiences of KTNG.
I'm Jeff Jaggers. God bless.